Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagam. Okay guys, I've got another Chanel video for you today. We have a lot to get through, so make sure you're subscribed, hit notifications. Please like this video as well, like it for the algorithm. There are a lot of shenanigans to get through today. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update and give you what I call my Chanel calendar. So the first thing on the list is obviously Chanel 21K. It's in boutiques worldwide right now. I've seen some people on Instagram posting like unboxings already. People have already started scoring. So let me know about that. Coco Neige is going to hit stores in October, which is next month. And then Cruise, so 22C, will be in boutiques November, December, and then 22P Printemps will be in boutiques, I think, like at the end of January. So that's your Chanel calendar. Let's get into the shenanigans. Okay, this first story is out of the 31 Cambon boutique in Paris. I'll put it up on the screen. I'll just paraphrase what's going on. So there's basically this client who loves the brand. She loves Chanel. You get me? Like, she's a huge fan of the brand. And then she just said the staff was super rude. It actually made her cry when she left the boutique. She said that I knew we were going there, so I was suitably dressed for the occasion. She wanted to take a picture behind the very famous staircase, obviously leading to, Gabrielle Chanel's flat. By the way, I didn't know, or I didn't realize that her middle name is Bonner. That's such a beautiful middle name. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Gabrielle Chanel, but that name is beautiful. I might need to take that name. So she's super excited, and then she basically said she finds out later that if you buy something, you're allowed to look at the staircase. And I think actually she did buy something, and then as soon as they got there, there's a security security lady tells her that she cannot see the staircase. And then she tells her that she needs to go outside to take a picture, like looking through the window. Okay, and then she's looking. Hold on, wait. So her son is like looking through the window. Then the security lady tells off her son. This is a crazy story. And then she like yells at him, whatever. Then she's like, I then wandered around the shop, which was empty apart from one customer. Now I know why. The lady proceeded to follow me around the store, waiting right behind me. Not sure why this happened. What happened to social distancing? She takes a photo of one of the rooms where the clothing was, and then she told me off like a 3-year-old. And she said that if I was buying, I could take a photo, but not if I wasn't. It's a beautiful shop, but the staff let the brand down. There's no need to be so rude to people. After that ruined the whole experience, she left. She didn't touch a thing in the shop, and I could understand a bit if they're busy serving people and I was in the way, but it was empty on a Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and it was her birthday. No, hold on, wait. It was empty at 11:30 a.m. and then she said it's her birthday in a few weeks. I wanted to buy something from the flagship shop, but I'll never do that now. If you want to go here, please don't bother. Okay, this is what I understood from the story, because it's a little bit convoluted, but basically what I understood is this. She walked in with her son, and she, wanted to take a picture of the famous staircase. It seems that this time that she visited, she didn't buy anything. Okay, that's the key point, because she says here at the end, it's her birthday in a few weeks, and she wanted to buy something from the flagship, but now she won't. Now, my thing is, like, I think that Chanel are not necessarily wrong here. I think if she was like trying to take a photo of the famous staircase and she didn't buy anything, I don't really see what's wrong with them saying it to her, like, hey, like, you can't take a picture of the staircase only if you're buying something. At the end of the day, she just wanted to take pictures or whatever, but she didn't want to buy. Even if she wanted to buy later on, that's fine. But yeah, it is true. You see on social media, on Instagram, particularly on Yelp, you see people posting like photos of themselves with their shopping bags, need I add, by the famous staircase. Honestly, when I lived in Paris, I went to Avenue Montaigne boutique. I never went to the Cambon boutique. I don't really care for that Gabrielle Chanel mythology. I don't really care for that. Now that's just me personally, because I love the brand, but I don't really care for the founder, if that makes sense. But I think if you're a fan of Coco Chanel, that's going to be hurtful that they wouldn't let you take a picture by the staircase. That's bound to hurt her feelings, and I can actually really sympathize with the client here to a certain degree. But then at the same time, because the first time I read it, I thought that she had purchased something. And now I'm reading it again for the video. Just realized she didn't buy anything. She just wanted to go there. She said it was empty at 11:30, in the morning, and she felt like they were being rude. I feel like they're doing their jobs. They might actually have a rule that only people who are allowed to like take pictures of the famous staircase are people who have purchased in the store, which to me I think is fair. It's their property, okay, and they get to decide what's popping. I don't know if it's right to like yell at someone's kid. I mean, I don't have children, and I can assure you, if someone yelled at my son, the Coco Chanel staircase is the least of my worries, okay? Because I'm gonna check you, okay? But I wouldn't have this issue because I wouldn't dream of going to Cambon Boutique, not buying something and trying to take a picture of the staircase. I don't know, I feel like the client's wrong here. I'd love to know what you think. By the way, all of these reviews are from TripAdvisor. Normally I get them from Google reviews, but I tried something new and I fell down this like TripAdvisor Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole of crazy Chanel stories. Here's the next one. This is about the Avenue Montaigne boutique. So there's a woman, she goes in with her husband. She says the hostess approached us to know what we're looking for. After telling her, she tells an essay, and then she says she noticed how people had been offered refreshments. And she said maybe because it looks like we couldn't afford to buy anything in the store. We were not fancy dressed and looked quite tired from all the walking. This guy comes to help us. He's friendly, but he still didn't ask them how they were. And whether they wanted to have refreshments, and she said she was quite disappointed. She bought a very expensive bag anyway and left the store. She said, I wish I was able to receive the excellent customer service everyone is talking about. Okay, so this is a very interesting one because I feel like this was a measured review. A lot of the reviews across Google, Yelp, and TripAdvisor for the Montaigne boutique, particularly the Cambon store, talk about champagne, champagne, champagne. You are looking at someone, okay, who loves champagne, sweetheart. Whether it's Moet, Krug, I drink it all. Now, I do feel like that they make a decision basically on who they're going to offer drinks to. In this review, she talks about how she comes in with her children. I do feel like a family coming into the Chanel boutique, I do feel like, particularly if you see young children, the SA should automatically offer something to drink for the children. Absolutely, at the very least for the children. I think also like if you're there with your man, with your husband, your boyfriend, of course like they should offer him something to drink at the very least while you're trying on bags or trying on clothes, etc. To me, I think she might be right here that they just felt like, oh, they're just tourists coming to look around at a Chanel boutique and they're not going to buy anything. That's the impression that I got. I actually am siding with the client here. I think that they were probably judged for how they look because she does say they weren't fancy dressed and they were tired from all the walking. She was obviously super excited about buying a bag. She bought one anyway, but you could tell that she felt a little bit down. This is a good example of where Chanel does get it wrong. Now, I kind of know where they're coming from, okay? When you have a boutique or a retail business, and I've had a boutique before, you do make judgment calls on particularly busy days on who you think is going to purchase and who you don't. That's not to say that everyone isn't treated with respect. People are treated with respect, but at the end of the day, of course, someone who's buying and spending money is going to be given more attention than someone who's just browsing. These people were paying clients and they should have been respected better than they were, and they weren't, And I do think that they probably were judged for how they look. So that brings up a very interesting question. How important are looks when it comes to, going to these stores? I feel like a lot of us do say, oh, well, I wouldn't care what I look like. I think you're going into a fashion boutique. You should care a little bit what you look like. You don't need to look stylish or necessarily to look expensive, but I do think, you need to look just like you have respect for the way you look groomed, look elegant, and then, go about your day. That doesn't mean you can't wear joggers or you can't wear trainers or you don't even necessarily need to wear makeup. But I don't know about the people who say they'll go into a store and they look like they've just woken up. I don't know about that. Okay, let's talk about a crazy story from the Milan boutique. Listen, what's going on? Okay. Because Hermes Milan, people were dragging that store. Now people are dragging Chanel Milan. So what she's saying here is that basically this particular client wanted to touch bags and wasn't allowed to touch them. And when a security guard stopped the client when she opened the flap of a bag, all the sales associates were busy. So I was sitting around waiting, browsing the store on my own, which was fine. The guard then followed me for a while, and it was as if I was trying to steal the goods. It's just super ridiculous that we can't touch or try on goods that are on display. And then she's saying that she's never encountered service like that in any store. Now, this is very interesting, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason why this story from Milan is interesting is because a lot of reviews, to the point where it was almost redundant for me to bring it up in this video, about the Cambon boutique, complain about this same issue, and the Montaigne store as well in Paris. They say that you're not allowed to rock up there. You know, you can't rock up to the bags and touch them, and you will be yelled at. Particularly the Cambon store, a lot of people were saying, oh my god. A lot of people on TripAdvisor as well. Now, TripAdvisor is geared towards a different type of client. Obviously, these are clearly tourists, but tourists have a lot of money to spend, but that's not really the point. Chanel have their rules, and they want you to follow those rules. Now, there's a kind of disconnect, because if you are on YouTube, you probably watch shopping vlogs. I do as well. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, you've seen people going and touching everything in the boutique. I think, and I've said this and I feel this in my heart, that a lot of luxury influencers who get to go to different Chanel boutiques around the world, a lot of them are already grandfathered into really great relationships with their SAs. So maybe this person was at the Milan boutique and was trying to touch something, but maybe a Milanese fashion blogger would walk in there and shoot a fashion vlog and touch everything and wouldn't get shouted at. I do think that this rule of not touching the bags was in place before the whole, you know, what happened in the world, the disease, etc. Before that happened. And I think that for them, it's not just about the security of the bags. I think for them, it's an exclusivity thing as well. I think Chanel love to play on that. I think this is also like a mind game. Like, you can't just like rock up, okay, to the display and try and touch the bag. I know that particularly the London boutiques, particularly if you watch shopping vlogs, if you're on Instagram, on TikTok, you'll see a lot of vloggers and YouTubers just walk in there, they pick up anything that they want, and they're happy, you know, to touch everything. But I think there's a reason why in the Parisian boutiques, we don't really see a lot of luxury shopping vlogs from the Parisian boutiques. And I do think this issue of not being able to touch is a big deal, and I'd love to know what you think. My thing is, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I am a rule person. If I know that those are the rules, that I'm not allowed to walk into the Chanel, Cambon, or Montaigne, or Milan boutique and touch something, I'm happy to follow the rules. I don't really mind. Now, it's a little bit different here. If you're watching this video, you're probably a Chanel customer. Some of you are some big spenders at Chanel. I've spoken to many of you privately. So you know the rules, and we all know the rules, that you're not, particularly the European Chanel stores, they would prefer if you walk in, an SA is assigned to you, and then you tell the SA what you'd like to purchase. Whereas I have noticed like the continental European boutiques are like that, whereas the UK Chanel boutiques, they seem a little bit freer. You can just walk around and touch things. I can see why this client is upset, and I feel for the client, trust me. It would be nice if some Chanel SAs would show a little bit more compassion, particularly in the very tourist-heavy boutiques. Milan, Paris, London are all, you know, tourist capitals of the world, okay? People are going to walk in there, and not every single person who's going to enter a Chanel store knows the unwritten rules of Chanel, that you're not allowed to walk in and touch things. Again, like I said, even in the US, I've seen a lot of luxury shopping vlogs from American bloggers, and how come they're touching things everywhere? So I think that, you know, if Chanel's going to have these rules, first of all, enforce them across the board. If you're not going to enforce them, don't like have the security guard run up, you know, to a client and tell them you're not allowed to touch something. I think that's a very overly aggressive. I don't really care how softly or how gently the security guard tells the client. That person's job is to enforce security. That isn't a security issue. That should be the sales associate to be like, oh, hi, madam. Actually, you know what? Our protocol says that you're not allowed to touch the bags. Can you just wait and I'll come straight to you? I'm so sorry for the delay. You know, just make it a little bit nicer and be a little bit warmer. I do think a lot of these reviews, I believe a lot of them, and I think a lot of them are spot on, because I myself had a bad experience at the Avenue Montaigne boutique, but I haven't written off the store fully yet. And when I go back to Paris, I'll be back there. I'll be back in that store. But we've all had bad experiences. I think I've told many of you guys as well. Like, went to the Mac store near the Champs-Elysees, and I remember the security guard yelled at me because I tried to take a picture. And I remember that day, okay, I was in that mood that day when I was like, no way, I am going to defend myself. And I was like, okay, relax. I remember telling him, relax, okay? And Edwin was trying so hard not to scream laughing because he knows what I'm about, okay? He knows what I'm about. And I was like, okay, guy, relax. Just chill out, okay? Don't fall over yourself now. It's not that serious. And I feel like that was in 2014. That's when we were in Paris then on a holiday. Imagine it's 2021 today. There's TikTok everywhere, okay? There's Instagram everywhere. Instagram stories. Everyone's got their phone out. It would be impossible for that store today to enforce that kind of rule. Like, you can't buy, you can't take a picture. You can't take a picture. That would be so hard. Now, I do think it's worth us talking about, like, the issue of like people filming in the store, because I want to talk about this. There is a YouTuber that I watch from time to time. She films videos, like vlogs, and she sometimes has mentioned like being shouted at in boutiques, like Chanel boutique specifically, like, hey, you can't film in here, don't film in here, whatever. I think there are some people who've been told specifically, you're not allowed to film in the Chanel boutique, and there are others who are allowed to, okay? Like I said, I think it's the discretion of the SA and the store manager who decide which bloggers get to film and which ones don't. My thing is this, I think you should always use like numbers. If you walk into the Chanel Cambon boutique, okay, and again, there's a reason why we don't see shopping vlogs from the Cambon boutique a lot, because the security there really aggressively clamps down on pictures and videos. I've seen people say that on Facebook. But I think that at the end of the day, it's so important that when you walk into a boutique, for example, look and see what people around you are doing. If no one around you is touching a bag, okay, you should not be walking up in there, okay, trying to touch anything and everything, if that's not what's happening. If there are clients everywhere touching bags, trying things on, touching SLGs, then I think that's fine. So I think, again, like I said, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I'm the daughter of 2 diplomats. My parents always told me, be polite, follow the rules, and there'll be no trouble. And I think that on the whole, you can take those lessons and apply them to shopping in luxury stores. There are a few other little tidbits which weren't necessarily from TripAdvisor. I did see them on Google reviews, but I don't remember where I put them. I remember saving them on the monitor there on the laptop, but now I can't find them. I remember there was one review. Someone said something super juicy and interesting, and I agree. This person said that she walked into, I think it was also the Montaigne boutique, and she said that she was alone. Everyone in there was with their man, okay, with their husbands or boyfriends, and she said she felt ignored because she was a single woman. We all know it's an unwritten rule at Hermes, okay, that if your husband or boyfriend goes in there and tries to score a bag for you, he's gonna score a bag. If you're a man watching this video, it's an unwritten rule. It is easier for men to score quota bags than women. We don't make the rules, okay? I don't make these rules. I'm just reporting them back to you, and I'm not going to fight with anyone who's going to say no about this. Many bloggers have talked about this. Many customers have said that sometimes their husbands go into Hermes and score. And her review about the Avenue Montaigne boutique at Chanel was interesting to me. The fact that she felt like she wasn't given due attention because she was there alone and she was purchasing her product alone, whereas other people with their boyfriends and with their partners. Yes, I think that there is some implicit like bias there, absolutely. Maybe, and I'm not going to pretend, when I had my boutique, women who came in with their husbands, there was an automatic assumption with me and everyone else who worked in my store at the time, oh, that person's going to buy, she's with her man. Like, she's told her man, like, oh, I want to buy something, want to go to the shop, like, go buy this thing for me, you know? And I don't know whether that's right or wrong. It's not necessarily that. I do think we need to, like, kind of get out of this kind of thought that a woman can't go and buy something herself. Obviously, women buy things themselves every day. It's not a big deal, but I did think that was just a very interesting tidbit, so I'd love to know what you think about that. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit notifications, and keep watching. We have a lot more to talk about. One of the wildest stories that I ever covered about Chanel is from a video from many weeks ago, but it actually generated some of the most intense comments I've ever read on my channel, and the comments were incredible. Those of you who did see that video, video, let me just quickly give you a recap. Those of you who've seen it, just bear with me, so I want to make a point here. So this was the Chanel, I think, in Beverly Hills in the US. There was a client who purchased a classic flap. She claimed she tried it on a few times at home. I remember this because it was just so ridiculous to me. She tried on the bag a few times at home, and then she wanted to return the bag. And she goes to the boutique, and the store manager doesn't want to give the refund, basically, and doesn't want to accept the return. And then she had to get like her essay on the phone, and it was a very stressful experience. Some of you were defending the client, saying it was her right to return the bag. I was not defending the client. I thought the client was bang out of order, because I don't care what she said. I don't care if the plastic stickers were still on the bag. You tried it on a few times at home. That is not a mint condition bag. Okay, honey, I need my Chanel Trendy to be mint condition from the factory, honey, in France. I wanted to say made in France, fabriqué en France, honey, and I want it to be brand new. I don't want any business of made in France, got to the Avenue Montaigne boutique, someone bought it and tried it on a few times at home, returned it, still had their fingerprints all over my bag, honey. No. That's not how I operate. And by the way, Louis Vuitton is known, those of you who love shopping online from LV, they are known for using the website to send returns to people. What shocked me about that story from Beverly Hills, and why I remember it, is I do think that there are some customers who, in my opinion, act very entitled and feel very entitled. There was another review, I'm not going to post it here because it was just so ridiculous, okay? It was also of the Montaigne boutique in Paris, and there was a customer who said that she felt ignored, and she was like, my husband's wearing a Rolex, okay? I was wearing Gucci. Sweetheart, do you know how many people's husbands are walking through the Chanel's Parisian boutiques and are wearing a Rolex, wearing an Audemars, wearing a Patek Philippe, wearing a Richard Mille? Do you know how many like women's husbands and boyfriends are wearing those watches? That's nothing new to the Chanel employees, okay? And I hate when people get so defensive in that way, because those people see immense wealth, I beg your pardon, every single day. I felt like the client in Beverly Hills was acting entitled to getting a refund, and she was treating the bag as if it was a free item that she basically loaned Chanel money for, okay? And then she didn't feel like carrying out her loan, so she wanted to get her money back. I just thought that the client in that particular story was very insincere, and if I was the manager, honey, you are not getting a refund, okay? Now, you're lucky that that woman gave you a refund, and I think behavior like that is what creates these defective products as well that we see in the market. There's one thing about a product being defective. Many people were saying that those like super tiny mini vanities that we saw earlier this year from Chanel, many people said that those were defective. That's fine. I'm talking about bags which were mint condition, and then you try it on a few times at home, whatever that means, translation, okay? I use the bag at home. That's what that means, by the way, okay? And I feel like that also I think that also impacts the way people are treated in the store. I think everyone is entitled to be treated with respect at luxury stores, okay? Let me tell you, I would not accept being racially abused in a boutique or being treated badly because of the color of my skin. Let me be clear, I have my limits, and I will not accept that behavior. I will be out, me and my purse and my legs, we're leaving, okay? But I do think that there are other clients, particularly of Chanel, who are very entitled. I personally, just my opinion, pertaining to like the drink issue, I do think that if it's like a very touristy boutique, they should be offering drinks to as many customers as possible. Maybe they didn't have drinks at that time, but that other story, they saw clients being offered drinks and they weren't offered drinks. I think if they're young children, you should be offering drinks. I think if someone comes in with their husband or boyfriend, obviously the man is just going to be chilling on the sofa. Yeah, offer him a drink and offer her a drink, absolutely. So there are definitely some mistakes that Chanel has made, but I do think that there are a lot of Chanel customers who are very entitled and think that the essays need to kiss their feet and need to act like, wow, we're so honored to have you. At the end of the day, this is a business like any other. Chanel has millions of customers around the world, and just the way I see it, I do think that there are a lot of people who are at Chanel, who are customers of the brand, who act very entitled. And I'm going to say some very unpopular things, okay? I actually really like Chanel, and I know that I dragged them really hard, but I like the brand. You guys, you know, I like the brand. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't talk about them. But I do think that they are people who kind of obsess over the same issue all the time. Now, my job is to post about price increases. I will always talk about price increases on this channel because they're relevant to you guys who are luxury shoppers. This is a luxury shopping channel. I have to talk about price increases, okay? Personally, I don't really care either way. Of course, they're not nice, they're not great, but they are conversation starters, and it's important for us to talk about how much things cost so people know how much money they're going to be spending. Okay, I'll tell you what I don't really care about, and I will not be talking. And you notice I don't really talk about this issue. Many bloggers do. I do not, because to me it's just so redundant at this point. The quality issue. I just don't care. Okay, and a lot of these reviews, they're people complaining about quality. Baby, why are you in the Cambon boutique? Okay, whinging and moaning about champagne, but then being like, oh, and by the way, Chanel's quality is not what it used to. Let me tell you something. The top dogs in Paris do not care. Okay, and that's my point. I think what Chanel have learned in the past, particularly the past 2-3 years, and I really think we saw this after that Chanel Pearl mini bag, that unicorn. I think Chanel realized, like, whoa, we can basically create any product, any handbag, and people are going to buy it. Okay, we don't have to make it a well-constructed product. We don't have to really make any additions or make things really amazing. We can do things the way we want, and people are going to buy it, and we can actually save costs because we don't have to make the product better in terms of a quality issue. You know, when people do unboxings for Chanel, do you notice that no one talks about, wow, it's such a beautiful product, or God, it's so amazing, it's like this and this and that? Whenever I watch reviews of Chanel bags, I never hear that. I hear how people are talking about the caviar or the lambskin or the hardware. You never really hear about people talking about the function of the bag. If you watch a review of Longchamp, you'll hear people saying, this bag is amazing, this bag is durable, you know, this bag is fantastic, you should buy this bag. So my thing, if you're a Chanel customer, at this point, quality should be out of the window, honey, okay? Because let me tell you something, they are not pressed or bothered about it. What I found really interesting when I was researching these stories is the amount of people who are going into the Chanel store, knowing full and well the quality issue has changed, okay, and getting extremely upset about it. One of my favorite stories was from one of the Parisian boutiques. I don't remember which one it was, but I thought this story was completely wild, okay? There was a customer who was like, you know, looking at a bag to buy, and then she was offered the bag. The customer starts to inspect the chain. Honey, you're doing too much. And then the SA kind of gets a bit huffy and a bit puffy about it, which is wrong. The SA should be keeping her cool. And then when the customer's like, I'm sorry, I need to inspect the bag, the SA tells her she's being picky. Touche. And then the customer's inspecting the chain, inspecting it, and then decides to buy it, and then she says the SA's mood changed. Look, I am not that person who's going to be inspecting stuff, okay? This is not a car where you need to inspect the parts. I think that is excessive. I think that's ridiculous. Yeah, you guys are going to be like, she's spending thousands, she should get a perfect handbag. It is not going to be perfect. To my knowledge, Chanel bags are not actually fully handmade. That whole definition of handmade is nebulous. I think most of them are like assembled in a factory, obviously by people. I think that you should get a bag that is beautiful and it should be good quality. And I think at Chanel, you're going to be basically, for the most part, you're going to be getting good quality. You're not going to be getting Hermes level quality. You're not going to be getting quality like it was like a leather artisan who's doing the whole thing by hand themselves. That's not going to happen. I think people need to move on. I remember just reading that review and thinking that this client, okay, if you're watching this video, you were doing way too much and you were making me crack up at home, okay? Because I'm just like, no, You cannot inspect the chain of the bag to make sure that it's perfect. Girl, bye. Hey guys, I would love to know what you think of these Chanel stories. Most of them are centered around the Parisian boutiques. There was just so much tea. People at TripAdvisor are mad, okay, at Chanel Avenue Montaigne and Chanel 31 Rue Cambon, honey, okay? People are mad. For me personally, the Cambon boutique is just my definition of a nightmare. I don't really like being I don't really like being around a lot of people. I'm the kind of person who would prefer being in like a bar with a cocktail as opposed to a nightclub. I can't imagine being in a very busy store, having to wait 45 minutes to talk to an SA. That is not my vibe. I don't care, okay? If Gabrielle Bonner Chanel staircase is there, it is not that important to me. I know the other people of the brand, fans of the house, I beg your pardon, who love that, and that's fine. I just thought a lot of these stories were just super fascinating. There was another story from like Chanel in Florence of this woman who bought a bag. She went in and asked for like a dust bag, and they were like, ah, you're blanked, honey. Okay, and then she had to go to Gucci to get her dust bag. Chanel are always doing way too much. You guys, I really need to know what you think about this. If you like what I'm doing, make sure you're subscribed, okay? If you like these videos and you want to hear crazy customer stories, let me know which brands you want me to cover next, because normally this is like a trademark of Hermes, but Chanel has got a lot, okay? There are a lot of crazy stories from Chanel as well. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Before I go, I've linked my Versace perfume unboxing in the description below, so make sure you go check it out. I think you guys, if you like luxury perfumes, you'll definitely like that one. Thank you as always for supporting my channel. I've got a bonus video coming on Friday and a video coming on Saturday, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video.